Please do, yeah.
Oh, yes, sorry. I asked Amy if she was comfortable with me recording this as well. I didn't ask any of you guys. Does anybody need to stay out of the picture? I'm obviously not going to be focusing too much on the families as we go.
I'm fine to be in the picture. I have done this before. Back when this was Asperger's, they cut our, we got our thing cut, and as a teenager, I went and stand in front of the school board in order to try and get that stopped. So, this is my second time around.
Yep. I think for a number of us, this is our second time around.
Hey, can you teach him a lesson?
What would you like me to teach him?
A lesson. A lesson that Doug will never, ever forget.
Would you like to write him a letter, or maybe that picture of him?
No, can you change his ways?
I can talk to him, and I will definitely tell him your story,
Yes.
okay?
Yeah, so we
If
talked to
you-
you just before the
if you-
announcement came out, Melissa and Jason Ford.
If you wanna make, hey, tell.
We had told you, like, because we had never received any funding. And I had just mentioned to you that he had started attending Oak Ridge and was doing amazing. So we were paying out of pocket for tuition. So
Hey,
the
skip.
big ripple effect that I did not anticipate out of this whole thing, because we had been paying out of pocket for so long,
Hey,
was that
Hey, can you
the
write-
school had contacted us
Hey,
this
can
week
you write
because he needs one-to-one support, so I have to pay $60,000 for tuition now because half the kids in the school do not have
excuse
funding.
me.
So
Cindy, can
so
you
I
write him a
probably have to send
letter?
him back to the
Can
public
you write him
school,
a letter? Amy, can
public
you?
school system in September, which breaks my heart, because I cannot afford $60,000 a year for tuition and one-to-one support at a school where he was thriving. So, at first I didn't think that it had much effect on me, I will say that quite honestly. And then it was a bombshell. And so we just don't know where to turn right now and what can we do, because it's just not possible for us to pay that amount of money for tuition for him, so. That's our story. I do appreciate you talking to us before the announcement.
Come to me.
So, I mean, that's our main concern, was we finally found something that worked for him, and he was making so many gains, and now we have nothing to do. I have to turn my back on my son and send him back to a private school where he does not get the support that he needs. So it's very concerning for us.
I'm so sorry. I do appreciate the time to talk to me as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't even care, like, I want the other kids to get their funding back, so I'll go back to paying $27,000 for tuition, I will do that, but I can't do the 60. And it just breaks my heart that he's just not gonna get the support that he needs. And on top of that, talking to his old school where, I'm still in touch with their child youth worker and, the spec ed teacher there. And they have told me this week about all the cuts that are coming, and the child youth worker doesn't even get to make a behavioral or safety plan anymore. So I'm so worried about him having to go back. So, those are our main concerns. But anyways, anyone else can share their story.
So we've been, as you know, Amy, we fought side by side. As we mentioned, this isn't the first time for a number of us, and I know it's not the first time for Amy because she's fought on the other side of this with me, shoulder to shoulder, as Doug likes to say, right? 1,000%. There's a lot of anger out there today. There's a lot of parents who are really upset about this. Do you feel that anger is justified, Amy?
I know families are frustrated, but at the end of the day, it was the decision that we couldn't leave children sitting on the wait list, never knowing if we could actually get them off the wait list if we didn't do anything.
I think that the question that keeps coming up is what good is clearing the wait list if you're clearing it into a void of services that is not going to be sufficient for anybody. I mean, the government has made a point, not you specifically, but your boss has made a point of dividing our community into two groups, the kids that have funding and the kids that don't. And I assume that that's a political tactic intended to divide us. It's not going to happen. The people, right? The 75% of the families on that list have been waiting. They know what they're waiting for. The 25% of us who are currently getting service, we're the wait list families. And now we're going to end up with nothing. So my personal story, and I shared with a couple of you on the way in, is that I just found out, because I'm self-employed for the last year, that I can't even refinance my house under the new federal mortgage guidelines. So I actually have to sell my home to someone who I can only hope will rent it back to me so that I have a place to live, so that I can unlock enough equity, enough of my savings, enough of the castle that I've built with my family. I'm going to decimate my financial security and my family's financial security just to make sure that my son gets his therapy. You know how this works. The IBI therapy changes lives, and when you stop early, you watch the regression happen right in front of you. My son just went through it. He went back to strictly nonverbal for about 3 months. He wouldn't speak to anyone. He's screaming in his room for hours. I've been up since 5 this morning. I didn't sleep at all the night before. Why? Worrying about this, and because my son is freaking out. He needs this help. This is not optional, right? I mean, we talk about this and say we can't afford to pay $60,000. The truth is, and we all know it, we can't afford not to pay $60,000, because if it's not $60,000 this year, it's going to be $200,000 10 years from now. In today money, this is real. I mean, there's a conservative fiscal argument to be made here that these kids need to get the supports that they need today to function independently as adults. I have another question for you, Amy. This one's going to be tougher. You interviewed a family yesterday that brought back notes to our group. I'm sure you're aware of that. There were a lot of I don't knows. We'll see on Fridays. It was the minister's decision. What is your specific PA portfolio?
So I am responsible for children with autism, so my role is to bring her back information that I'm asked to gather.
I'm just curious.
So you're
how
not
the
involved
PA
in
didn't
creating
know.
the policy, don't
Like,
even
how
get
do
to
you
see it?
know?
So my role was to go out and meet with families at the roundtables in Karina. You were at the one.
I was at one too, and you didn't seem to hear what we said, because nothing in this new policy reflects what you were told.
So I brought back what I was told and brought it back, and then it was up to the minister and the policy team to come up with the program. And at the end of the day, it was really about making sure that
Organizing all the seats to vote for it, right? To show your party loyalty. How about Bruce's comment? Right? We're on the way out. They asked Bruce, what does Amy really think of this policy? And his words were, I will not violate confidentiality, but this caucus has excellent discipline. What does that really mean, Amy? Tell us.
I have known Bruce for many years, and
We all
Bruce and I have been very close, and it's unfortunate that he is not here. He would have been here working as my staff today, but
No, I'm just curious what the comment means.
I don't know. You would have to speak to Bruce.
What's your position?
For me, it was about clearing that wait list. That was what our mandate was to figure out a way to clear the wait list.
So take an example like my daughter Gwen, who if she'd this had been 3 years ago, she would have been cleared from the wait list. She would have gotten $5,000 worth of therapy per year. You know Gwen, you've met Gwen, you've seen the progress she's made. What good would have $5,000 done for her? What are you putting additional supports in the schools? The schools are already feeling the pinch as it is.
That is something that I've been working on quite a bit with Minister Thompson, and that was a lot of the feedback at the roundtables were around education and knowing that we need to.
Aren't you putting the cart before the horse, cutting our programs before introducing stuff? People are being kicked off as early as April. People are calling their schools going, I can't afford private school tuition for the end of the year. What am I supposed to do in April? Your government changes aren't going to be in effect fast enough. You haven't even figured them out
Well,
yet.
internally, all the schools are hearing all their hearings cuts, right? I said a child and youth worker, that is her job, and she's supposed to do behavioral plans, and she's been told that she can't write them anymore. A teacher is supposed to write them, so they're cutting everything.
They are cutting everything. Like my son even not allowed to go to school every day. And right now he's lucky that he's in Kids Ability. I'm sorry, am I
No,
cutting you?
absolutely, go ahead.
But half day they were just accepted him twice a week to come to school. And I just pushed him for the third week. Now the principal, yesterday was his first day because they don't have, like my son, he's 4, he's severely autistic, non-verbal, he's not toilet trained, he needs one-on-one support. But the school, like the principal is doing whatever she can, but they don't have any resources. And my son, like every expert tell him that he needs 20 hours of therapy. We've been on waiting list and we were just hoping, yes, we are paying some of our pocket, but he needs so much. It's not just AB, he needs OT, he needs speech, he's so many things. And if by the time this wait list and at 33 months, he'll be very close to 6 years old, and then 5,000, it's not even gonna cover like 1 month of his therapy. And like right now, I can hold his hand, I can control him, but what's gonna happen after 5 or 10 years if he's not getting any, like for me, I think you guys should bring the kids in, observe them, look at them. We are not just asking for money, we are asking for money because our kids need that therapy. It's somewhere it's okay, like people who are making more money maybe get, but just keeping like that 20,000, it's not enough depending upon income. So what if we are only getting 5,000, and once he turns 6, what's gonna happen? And Corina is here to, like, my son, if he's not going for his therapy for 2 days, he's off. He starts hitting his head. He's just like, it's so hard to control him. And like, and we were on a hope that we are doing the private therapy, and we were on the hope that, okay, after 24 months, we are gonna get what he is. And these 20 hours are not by us, it's by the experts, it's doctors, it's therapists. And he cannot eat by himself. He cannot do anything by himself. And if he's not getting that, all the support, all the therapy right now, so what are we gonna do? Like, where he's gonna end? Like, that's give me the goosebumps at night. I was asking him, and after you guys announced this policy, and I was asking my husband, what are we gonna do? It's not like we cannot afford few hours, but that few hours are nowhere close to what his needs and most, and like, you are giving 5,000 or 20,000 to every kid, but you have to see the severity of the kids. Like, they recommend it, but we cannot afford OT right at this point. We are just doing the ABA from our pocket, which whatever we can afford, and that's not enough for him.
Are we allowed to use these funds on OT and SLP? We hadn't heard those details yet.
No, so right now the plan is for BCBA hours. IT hours are fine as long as there's a BCBA overseeing. And then parent training, and then tech for communication devices.
And what's the
And
parent
respite
training
as well.
like? Like, is parent training just through ABA, or does that other disciplines?
So I've asked for that question.
How about the income gradient for funding? We've been told that the lowest income families will get X amount, and over a certain amount they get nothing. There has
And
been
in
all
between
kinds of talk
something.
about the in-between though, and what's gonna happen there. So we talk about $5,000 when it might actually be 1,000, and no one seems to know that.
Yeah, so they're working on getting the scales out. My understanding was.
Oh, so it's not done?
So it'll start at 55, and it will a hard cap of nothing at 250.
Can you help me come up with a family budget for somebody who earns $55,000 a year and who can somehow manage to afford $40,000 or $60,000 of therapy a year? Because I was a math major, and I can tell you, even all the math I had learned, I can't make that a balanced budget in my family.
My husband and I have quite good jobs. I cannot afford $60,000 for tuition, which my son, he needs to be at the school, and I'm beside myself that I cannot send him. And I was fine, as I said, have never paid. We were asked by our school to kind of figure out what we've paid for therapy, and he was diagnosed at 3, he'll be 11 in a couple months, and we have done it within our means. We have tried not to bankrupt ourselves, but we figured we've spent between $85,000 to $100,000 between ages 3 to 11. We could have spent a ridiculous amount more, absolutely, and he, fortunately, he was not nonverbal, and he was more high functioning, but I can't believe that I'm sitting here because half of those kids in the school lose their funding, and now I'm the one who suffers because my kid is one of the kids that actually needs more one-to-one support in the school. And they were the ones getting funding.
Yep.
Mine wasn't, but mine is the one that needs more support.